Very
Is this
clear.
clear? It's clear, right?
It's
Yes.
clear.
What if this version? Let
Gaza, local officials say. 1 day ago.
It's,
Share.
clearer.
Save.
Yeah.
Is it clear? Clearer?
Yeah. Clearer.
Save. Sofia Ferreira Santos. BBC News. Reuters.
Very,
Beit
very
Lahia has
British.
been hit by earlier strikes.
Sorry?
Very British.
Yeah. I set up my computer. Yeah, in the past I was so, disappointed, why I blah blah. But finally I got how to, to how can I get more opportunities to listen British. Anything I want to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I set my computer to speak out in a British way.
Strikes, pictured here in June. Israeli strikes have killed at least 73 people, including women and children, in the city of Beit Lahia in northern Gaza, the Strip's Hamas-run authorities say. Dozens of others are injured and many are still trapped under the rubble after the bombing late on Saturday night, officials added. Israel said it was checking reports of casualties, but said the figures published by Hamas authorities were exaggerated and did not match information held by its military. Fighting also continues to be reported in southern Lebanon, as well as the south of Beirut on Sunday morning, where smoke was seen rising above the city. Israel said its air force had attacked about 175 terrorist targets in Gaza and Lebanon over the past day. The Hamas-run government media office said the bombing in Beit Lahia on Saturday night hit crowded, residential areas, and that 73 people had been killed, a number also reported by Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency. The BBC cannot independently verify the figures. According to Palestinian news agency Wafa, an entire residential complex was destroyed in the strikes. Rescue efforts in Beit Lahia are currently hampered due to communications and internet services being severed in the region, Gaza health officials added. The latest strikes come just hours after reports of heavy gunfire from Israeli troops at the Indonesian hospital in the city. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, told the BBC it had struck a Hamas terror target and was doing everything possible to avoid causing harm to civilians. It said the casualties given by the Hamas office were exaggerated, and said such sources had proven to be sorely unreliable in previous incidents. Israel began a renewed military offensive in northern Gaza in early October, saying it is trying to prevent Hamas from regrouping in the area. In particular, Israeli forces have surrounded and bombarded the densely populated Jabalia area, which includes an urban refugee camp, with at least 33 people reported killed in a strike late on Friday. Humanitarian groups have warned that virtually no aid has entered the area in the past few weeks. Israel's own statistics show that aid deliveries to Gaza as a whole have collapsed when compared with the same period in September. The UN's top humanitarian official, Joyce Msuya, said on Saturday that Palestinians in northern Gaza are enduring unspeakable horrors and called for these atrocities to stop. Israel has repeatedly denied it is preventing humanitarian aid from entering Gaza, but the US has told it to boost access or risk having some American military assistance cut off. Beit Lahia is near Jabalia, which has been the focus of Israel's military offensive in the past fortnight. Meanwhile, Israel carried out at least a dozen airstrikes on Beirut on Saturday, in the heaviest attack the Lebanese capital has witnessed in more than a week. Damage and casualties were still being assessed, but at least one multi-story building in the city's southern suburbs had been completely destroyed. The Israeli military said it had targeted Hezbollah's weapons storage facilities and its intelligence headquarters command center in Dahi. Smoke was seen rising from southern Beirut in the early hours of Sunday, after Israel's military ordered the immediate evacuation of 2 neighborhoods in the area. The IDF told civilians they were located near facilities and interests affiliated with Hezbollah, which the IDF will work against in the near future. You see us burning, you stay silent. Family's agony over mother and sons burned to death in Gaza tent. How much food is Israel letting into northern Gaza? Gazans describe fresh horror in north as Israel renews offensive. Hezbollah also continued to fire rockets into northern Israel on Saturday, with the Israeli military saying about 200 projectiles, which usually means rockets, were fired. One person was killed by shrapnel while in his car, Israel's medical service Magen David Adom said. Also on Saturday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said an attempt had been made on his life following reports of a drone attack on his private residence. The attempt by Iran's proxy Hezbollah to assassinate me and my wife today was a grave mistake, he wrote in a post on X. Mr. Netanyahu and his wife were not at home at the time, and no one was injured. Iran says Hezbollah was behind the reported attack, Iranian state news agency IRNA reported. Hezbollah, which is funded and equipped by Iran, has not commented on the reports. Netanyahu says he is undeterred after reported drone attack on his home. At least 42,519 people have been killed and tens of thousands injured in Gaza since the war began last October, the Hamas-run authorities say. The war began after Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October 2023, leaving around 1,200 people dead and 251 taken to Gaza as hostages. Israel vowed to destroy Hamas in response. Earlier this week, the killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar in Gaza raised some hopes in some quarters of an end to the conflict. But the group's deputy leader said Hamas would only be strengthened, and that Israeli hostages would not be returned until Israel withdrew from Gaza. I was shocked, Gaza man says Hamas leader was killed in his house. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, also said on Saturday that Sinwar's death would not halt the Axis of Resistance, the regional network of Iran-backed, heavily armed militias that oppose Israel. Hamas is alive and will remain alive, Khamenei's statement added.